Have you ever been left by someone who acted like it meant nothing? Like the love, the late-night talks, the inside jokes, the plans, all of it was just a season she outgrew. She walks away like she's already healed, laughs like you were never real, posts pictures, smiles with her friends, maybe even starts dating someone else, and you're left staring at your phone, replaying every moment, every fight, every time you held her when she cried, and you ask yourself, did I ever matter to her at all? But here's the thing. What she shows you is a mask. That silence, that confidence, that coldness, it's not the whole story. She's hurting too. But she will never admit it, because if she does, the illusion breaks. And in this game, illusion is everything. She has to pretend she's fine, that you didn't affect her, that she's above it, that losing you was nothing. Because if she admits the truth, that it tore her up inside, then she has to face the pain. And pain doesn't look good on Instagram. This video is for every man who gave his all to a woman who now acts like he never existed. For the man who thought she was different, only to be ghosted, discarded, or replaced without a second thought. You want answers, you want to understand. But I'm going to tell you something most won't. You don't need her to admit it. You don't need closure. You don't need revenge. What you need is rebirth. This isn't about getting her back. It's not about texting her or playing mind games. It's about stepping into something more powerful: emotional control, stoic resilience, cold, surgical self-respect. Because once you stop reacting, once you stop chasing, once you stop needing, you become dangerous. We're not here to lick wounds. We're here to build armor. This video is a blueprint for turning heartbreak into discipline, chaos into calm, and silence into strength. It's about becoming the man she underestimated, the man she thought she could break, but who came back unrecognizable, detached, unbothered, magnetic. And when that happens, when you stop trying to prove your worth and start embodying it, she'll feel it, in her chest, in her gut, every time your name comes up. But by then, you won't care, because you'll have already moved past the version of yourself that ever needed her validation. If you're done letting heartbreak define you, if you're ready to flip the script, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I reclaim my soul. Number 1, she's not okay, even if she pretends to be. She's not okay, even if she looks like she is. Even if she's posting filtered smiles and cliché quotes about healing and finding peace. Even if she's out on Friday night pretending like the last 6 months with you never happened. That's not healing. That's hiding. That's avoidance dressed up as strength. See, heartbreak doesn't always come with tears. Sometimes it shows up as overcompensation. Acting louder, looking happier, trying too hard to seem unbothered. That's her strategy. She's performing, not for you, but for herself. She's trying to sell herself the lie that it didn't cut deep, that letting you go was easy. But the truth? She's bleeding beneath the surface, quietly, alone. At night, when the world finally shuts up and the music fades, that silence gets heavy. That's when your name shows up in her mind like a ghost. That's when she replays the way you looked at her, the way you protected her, the way your energy filled the room with calm. She doesn't talk about it. She can't, because then she has to admit she lost something real, something rare. And people don't grieve loudly when they were the ones who chose to walk away. They suffer silently, internally. Pride won't let her say it out loud, but she knows she's not okay. But here's what you need to understand. It's not your job to wait around for that truth. It's not your mission to decode her silence or read between the lines of her stories. The second you start obsessing over whether she misses you or not, you fall right back into emotional slavery. That's not stoic. That's not masculine. That's weakness wearing empathy like armor. This journey is about you. It's about detaching from the idea that closure comes from her. It doesn't. Closure is an internal decision. The moment you stop chasing her reaction, you start reclaiming yourself. You start building a version of you that no longer seeks validation, but commands it through presence. She's not okay, But that's not your concern anymore. Let her deal with the consequences of losing you. You don't need to prove anything. The absence of your attention is already echoing louder than your presence ever did. Number 2, she expected you to beg. She didn't expect you to go quiet. She expected chaos. She expected late-night texts, desperate calls, emotional outbursts. She expected you to fall apart. That was the plan. That was how she kept control. Because when someone begs, they give power. When someone chases, they shrink. And when someone loses themselves trying to win someone else back, that's when they become forgettable. That's the role she cast you in, but you didn't play it. And that shook her. See, people who walk away often test the waters. They leave, but they don't really leave. They wait. They expect emotional fireworks, proof that they meant something. When you didn't panic, when you didn't reach for her, cry, plead, or spiral, she didn't feel powerful. She felt lost. Because suddenly, the script flipped. You weren't the weak one. She was. She expected to be the sun in your sky, to leave and watch your world go dark. But instead, you stood still, stoic, grounded. You became the mountain in the storm. She didn't plan for that. She didn't plan for the silence. She didn't expect to feel irrelevant. And now she's questioning everything. Did he care at all? Was I even important to him? That's the paradox. The more detached you become, the more she obsesses. Because women don't chase men who beg. They chase the ones who walk away with dignity. This is where dark psychology comes in. Emotional detachment is not cruelty. It's control. You're not ignoring her to hurt her. You're choosing stillness to protect your energy. You're starving her of the reaction she craved, and now she's the one spinning. What you did, whether you know it or not, was a power move. You denied her the emotional drama she was counting on. You became unreadable, and nothing is more attractive or more terrifying than a man who is no longer emotionally accessible to someone who once had all his heart. And here's the kicker. When you choose discipline over desperation, people start to remember your worth. Not because you yelled it, but because you showed it. Through silence, through peace, through distance. Number 3, pain is your forge, not your prison. You feel it, don't you? That weight in your chest, the ache that creeps in when you're alone. It hits in waves, sometimes a sharp sting, sometimes a slow burn. That's heartbreak, that's loss, that's pain. And right now, it probably feels like it's swallowing you whole. But here's the truth no one tells you. This pain you're drowning in, it's not here to break you, it's here to build you. You've got 2 options. 1, let the pain own you. Sit in it. Replay old memories like a loop you can't escape. Become bitter, smaller, weaker. Or 2, use it, channel it, transform it. Because pain is energy, and energy, if controlled, becomes fuel. The gym becomes therapy, solitude becomes clarity, and those sleepless nights, they become your wake-up call. This is where the Stoic mindset separates men from boys. The Stoic doesn't ask, why did she do this to me? He asks, what can I create from this? You want revenge? Build a life she can't access. You want healing? Master your habits. You want peace? Earn it through discomfort. Every ounce of pain you're feeling can either rot inside you or be converted into something she'll never be able to touch. Inner strength. She doesn't expect that from you. Most men fold. Most let heartbreak derail their discipline. They drink too much, text too fast, crumble too easily. Not you, not anymore. You're not escaping the pain. You're entering it, standing in the fire until it forges you into something colder, sharper, cleaner. Let her run from discomfort. Let her mask the void. You'll turn yours into armor, into muscle, into purpose. Because there's nothing more dangerous than a man who's been broken and then rebuilt himself with precision. This pain isn't your weakness, it's your origin story. And every time you choose action over distraction, you step closer to the version of yourself that can't be shaken. Not by her, not by anyone. Number 4, detachment is dominance. Let's get one thing straight. Detachment isn't weakness, It's not numbness. It's not apathy. It's power. Real, magnetic, terrifying power. Because the moment you stop reacting emotionally to someone who once had the ability to wreck you, you shift the dynamic entirely. You stop being a victim. You become the force. You see, she used to be able to push buttons, a look, a word, a silence. That used to unravel you. That emotional grip she had, that was control. And when she left, she probably thought you'd still be hooked, still checking your phone, still spinning. But when she sees you unmoved, when your energy becomes untouchable, she starts to panic. Why? Because emotional detachment flips the script. The more you care, the more you bleed. But when you detach, not in bitterness, but in calm, focused stillness, you become unpredictable. And in the world of human connection, unpredictability is dominance. This is where Stoicism shines. A Stoic man doesn't deny emotion, he contains it. He doesn't chase or beg, he observes. And when things don't go his way, he doesn't collapse. He adjusts. Detachment isn't about giving up. It's about letting go of the illusion that you need someone to complete you. That's why detachment is so attractive. It signals self-sufficiency. It radiates strength. You're not waiting for her to text. You're not watching her stories. You're not hoping she circles back. You've shifted your focus inward. That's when she feels it. That's when she realizes she no longer owns space in your mind rent-free. And that silence, that calm presence, that unnerves her. Because it means you've stepped out of the emotional tug-of-war. You're not pulling, you're not resisting. You've let go of the rope completely. And now, she's left holding nothing. The less emotionally available you become, the more your value increases. It's not about playing games. It's about reclaiming your center. When a man becomes emotionally sovereign, he becomes unshakable. And that is the version of you she never expected and can't stop thinking about. Number 5. Attention is her oxygen. Starve her. She doesn't miss you. She misses your attention. There's a difference. See, what kept her feeling powerful wasn't just your love. It was your focus, your energy, your constant presence. Every like, every message, every attempt to fix things, it was all fuel. And now, that fuel is gone. That's when things shift. Attention is currency in the modern world. It's power. And when you gave her all of yours, she felt rich, untouchable. But now she's bankrupt. Your silence is cutting deeper than your words ever could. And no matter what she posts, how hard she tries to look unbothered, she notices. She notices the absence. She notices that the one person who used to orbit around her disappeared. This is how dark psychology plays into attraction. What we ignore often obsesses over us. When someone loses your attention, their ego starves. And egos don't handle starvation well. She may not message you, she may not show it, but she feels the weight of your withdrawal like gravity, and it haunts her. Because now, the roles have reversed. She's the one wondering, why hasn't he reached out? Has he moved on? Is he talking to someone else? That uncertainty is torture, and you didn't do anything. You just stopped feeding her. No drama, no confrontation, just stillness. That's the real flex. You didn't argue, you didn't explain. You vanished. Quietly, strategically. You redirected your attention back to yourself, your goals, your growth, your peace. And when you do that, you shift from being a man who wants her to a man she can no longer have. Understand this. Women don't lose sleep over men who cling. They lose sleep over men who disappear without a trace. And every time she checks to see if you're still watching, still caring, and sees nothing, it stings. Because she thought she could keep you emotionally on a leash. But now, you've cut the cord. You've starved her of the one thing she never thought she'd lose, your attention. Number 6. Your stillness is louder than her drama. She thought you'd react. She thought you'd blow up her phone, throw shade online, argue with her friends, spiral in public. That's what most men do when they get hurt. They explode. And that explosion gives her exactly what she wants. Validation. Proof that she mattered. proof that she still controls your emotions. But when you respond with stillness, when you go dark and stay silent, that's when she starts to unravel. Because stillness isn't indifference, it's mastery, it's restraint, it's power under pressure, and that kind of energy is rare. Most people are reactors. They take the bait, they chase closure, they try to win the breakup. But you moved like a ghost. No reaction, no bitterness, no weakness, just distance, peaceful, focused distance. And that's far more deafening than any argument you could have started. She posts pictures with other people. You say nothing. She hints at you on her story. You stay unbothered. She tries to provoke you, test you, bait you back into the drama. You remain still. And that silence, that's what gets her. Because it leaves room for imagination, for regret, for doubt. Stillness creates pressure. It forces her to sit with the reality of what she did. There's no noise to distract her, no drama to cling to, just the void of your absence. And trust me, a man who can stay silent in chaos will always haunt the one who created it. That's the difference between a boy and a man. Boys react, men regulate. Boys need to be heard. Men know silence carries more weight than words ever could. That's stoicism, that's psychological dominance. And when you combine both, you become someone she can't read, and that terrifies her. Because now she's the one stuck wondering, what's he thinking? Has he moved on? Did I even matter? And all you did was nothing. Not out of weakness, out of strength. Because when a man masters his inner world, the outer world starts to bend to his presence. Number 7. Become a man. She can no longer read. She used to know how to get to you. She knew what words would pull you in, what moves would keep you chasing, how to twist a sentence just enough to make you question everything. You were predictable, emotional, available, reactive, and in her mind, that made you manageable. But now, you've changed. You've gone silent, focused, calculated, and suddenly she can't read you anymore. That unpredictability, that's lethal. It flips the entire script, because people only manipulate what they understand. When she could predict your behavior, she controlled the rhythm. She knew when to pull away to make you chase, when to breadcrumb you to keep you invested. But now, you've broken the pattern. You're not angry. You're not sad. You're not anything she can label. You're just unavailable. This is where dark psychology becomes your edge. The unknown is uncomfortable. It creates tension. When someone loses their ability to predict your behavior, they start projecting, doubting, spiraling. She's asking herself, why isn't he reacting? What is he doing now? Does he still care? Is he with someone else? And the more questions she asks, the more power you gain. Because now her mind is doing what yours used to, overthinking. To become unreadable, you have to master emotional neutrality, not fake indifference, real calm, real discipline. You stop explaining yourself. You stop oversharing. You speak less, move smarter, and keep your energy protected like it's sacred. Because it is. Not everyone deserves access. You don't show your wins. You don't show your losses. You move like a man with nothing to prove and everything to protect. And that mystery, that's what pulls people back in. Not the begging, not the proving, the silence. The man she can't read is the man she can't stop thinking about. She doesn't know where she stands anymore, and that lack of certainty is eating her alive, because the one thing more addictive than attention is mystery, and now you are both. Number 8, level up, not for her, but because of her. This part stings the most. She inspired your evolution, but she won't be around to enjoy it, and that's exactly how it should be. She lit the fire. She broke you down. She exposed your weak spots. But now you're using every scar, every sleepless night, every gut punch of rejection as raw material. You're leveling up, not to win her back, but to build a version of yourself that would never settle for someone like her again. This isn't about revenge. This is about resurrection. You don't need to prove her wrong. You need to prove yourself right, that you were never weak, never disposable, That the man she walked away from was just the blueprint. The real you, he's under construction, quiet, relentless, focused. You're in the gym not for aesthetics, but for discipline. You're building a business, mastering a craft, stacking skills, not to flex online, but to reclaim control. You're eliminating distractions, cutting dead weight, protecting your peace like it's gold. Because it is. You've stopped bleeding energy over someone who didn't value it. And now that same energy is being reinvested into your body, your mind, your future. The irony? The more you build, the more she'll circle back, the more she'll notice. Because transformation is louder than words. And growth makes people look twice. But by then, it won't matter. Because the version of you she left behind is gone, dead, buried. In his place stands a man she no longer recognizes and could never handle. This is the part she never saw coming. That the breakup wasn't your end, it was your awakening. That you didn't fold, you focused. You didn't chase, you chose yourself. And the deeper you go into that mindset, the more untouchable you become. You don't need her applause. You don't need her validation. You don't need her at all. Let her watch, let her regret, let her feel the absence of the man she took for granted. But you keep climbing, not for closure, not for attention, just because that's what real men do. They rise. Number 9. She will come back, but you won't care. She will come back. Maybe not today, maybe not next week, but she will. It might be a random message. Hey, just thinking about you. Or a song she posts that you both used to love. A story she watches. A comment she leaves. Maybe she even tries to act casual, like nothing ever happened. But don't be fooled. That's not curiosity. It's a test. She's checking to see if you're still emotionally available, if the door's still open, if the leash still fits. But this time, it doesn't. Because now, you've changed. Not just on the outside, but at the core. You're not the man who needed her anymore. You've detached so deeply that even if she comes back, you won't flinch. You won't fantasize. You won't pause your progress. Why? Because you've seen too much. You've felt what it's like to rebuild from ashes. You've tasted the peace that comes from not needing anyone. She expected to be your addiction, your weakness, your breaking point. But now, her return feels small, like a whisper you can easily ignore, and not out of spite, but because you've outgrown the version of you that ever thought she was irreplaceable. You've evolved into someone who doesn't chase people, because people are drawn to men who don't need them. That's the power of true Stoic detachment. You don't seek closure. You become it. You don't need revenge. Your elevation is the revenge. And when she finally realizes what she lost, when she sees you thriving, still, calm, unmoved, that's when the regret hits her. Hard. Because nothing haunts someone like the presence of a man they can no longer reach. She'll want back in, not because she suddenly became what you needed, but because you became what she never thought you'd be. Unavailable. She used to take your presence for granted. Now your absence is permanent, and she'll have to live with that. You'll keep moving forward. Number 10. You've become the storm. You're not chasing. You're not hoping. You're not waiting. You've become something else entirely now. The storm. You started this journey broken, desperate for answers, haunted by her silence. But now, you are the silence. You are the calm and the chaos. You are what happens when a man takes every ounce of pain, every ounce of rejection, every unanswered question, and uses it to become unstoppable. This is what true Stoicism looks like. Not emotionless, but emotionally untouchable. You still feel, but you're not ruled by it. You still remember, but it no longer owns you. The storm within you isn't rage, it's control, controlled strength, controlled focus, controlled destruction of everything that held you back. You don't need her closure because you've closed the chapter yourself. You don't want her validation because you've validated yourself through action, through discipline, through showing up for yourself even when it hurt. And now, you're not even in the same league. You're not the man she left. You're the man she couldn't imagine you'd become. Let her hear about you through whispers. Let her scroll past your name and feel that tightness in her chest. Let her wonder if the man who once begged for her time now even remembers her face. Because this version of you, he doesn't explain, he doesn't chase, he doesn't ask for anything. He commands respect just by existing. This is the full circle. You've gone from broken to bulletproof, from emotional chaos to controlled dominance. You didn't get her back, and that's the win. Because now you don't need her back. You needed this evolution. You needed the pain, the heartbreak, the silence. Because without it, you'd never have discovered the storm you were always capable of becoming. You are no longer the man who loved her. You are the man who outgrew her. Remember that. So here you are, still standing, stronger, colder, clearer. You didn't beg. You didn't fold. You didn't chase someone who walked away like you were nothing. And that choice, that discipline, that silence, it rebuilt you. It made you dangerous. She won't admit she's hurting. She'll keep pretending, smiling, posting, acting like she's fine. But you'll know, not because she says it, but because you've become the version of yourself she never believed you could be. The one who doesn't look back, the one who doesn't need closure, the one who doesn't flinch. This isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of your legacy. And every step you take forward is a reminder that pain is not your prison. It's your launch pad. You've stopped searching for answers in her. You've found them in yourself. Let her miss you in silence. Let her drown in what-ifs. Let her feel the weight of your absence for the rest of her life. But you walk forward. Because the man you've become doesn't chase storms anymore. He is one. If you've made it this far, you already know what time it is. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below, I don't chase, I transform. This is Stoic Blessing, where heartbreak ends and rebirth begins. I'll see you in the next one. Stay sharp, stay silent, stay sovereign.